There's no doubt that a lot of you read that title and you're thinking, oh, one pocket. How joyous and exciting. I didn't bring my pillow. Do you have any caffeine? You gonna show us how to play a safety, John? Hey, that's what I thought too. Just give me a chance and hear me out here. And I promise, if you're an offensive-minded player with scrotums, that's important. You must have scrotums to play this game. And you're gonna adore this game. Because one little mistake can have you digging in your pocket and going home broke. But then again, one great shot can have them digging in your pocket and you going home rich. Most pool players have a favorite game and a game they're known for and associated with. And it's a common mistake to refuse to play any other games and to specialize in just one. Because playing every other game will greatly improve your marquee game. With each game, you'll expand your knowledge and improve your overall pool game. Playing 8-ball will teach you how to tackle clusters and how to move around obstacles, and straight pool will do the same. Playing 1 pocket will improve your safety play and your banks. Playing banks will force you to see shots you often overlook, and of course, it will improve your banks and playing position on the following bank. Playing 9-ball will improve your position game and teach you to see the whole entire pattern. And these are just a few examples. The list goes on and on and on, but I don't want you to mistake this game for 1 pocket or for any other game. I'm not a fan of 1 pocket because I'm a rhythm player and the game forces you to slow down and think before shooting. There's too much safety play and patience required by the game itself that has me losing interest. Now, this does not mean that I hate the game. I envy the guys that play it well, and I have nothing but respect for the game itself. It's just not my thing. There's a gambling game that's been going on in the back rooms and under the radar for many years, and it's getting more popular by the minute. It's called 1 ball, 1 pocket. I assumed I would hate it, but I gave it a chance, and it turned out that I loved it. And while there's certainly an element of safety, it's mostly about knowing key shots and taking them in an aggressive, ballsy format. And this is because there's no balls to hide behind. You only have 1 object ball, and both players share that same object ball. So going for that glorious 1 shot to win it all could leave the ball in front of your opponent's pocket for an easy out and a win of the game. It's a race to 1 ball. The first player that makes that 1 ball wins the game. And as I've said many times on this channel, there's a fine line between having balls and being an idiot. And your job is to walk that line. The first order of business is learning the common shots of this game. Without this knowledge, and with someone else having this knowledge, you're automatically going to lose. So I would go into it having some kind of grasp on the common shots that come up in this game. And that means working on them. And your progression in any pool game is very, very limited if you never work on anything. So let's quit with all this small talk and chatter. Let's get on with the video. Alright, throughout this video, and to avoid any confusion, we're going to be taking the bottom right hand corner pocket. And naturally that means our opponent is going to be shooting in the bottom left hand corner pocket. And the first thing you need to know is how to break, and you have to break defensively. You cannot break offensively, because then it's just going to turn into guys putting a whole lot of twirly juice on this ball and shooting it straight into their pocket. And that wouldn't be much of a game, would it? And one object ball is frozen against the bottom rail in the center of the bottom rail, and you can break from anywhere behind the head string in the kitchen. Now some guys play you have to break from the box, but I have not run into that. Your best bet is to come off the bottom rail and leave the object ball up by your side of the table by the right hand side pocket. And you'll want to bring the cue ball somewhere around the left hand side pocket because this will leave no offensive shot for your opponent.
Oh, I'm gonna get some rubber. I need more bite. I do too. Yeah,
This is a typical shot that comes up all the time in this game. And remember, it can be over in the blink of an eye. It's imperative that you know it, you see it, and you shoot it. And if you leave it for him, he's going to take it and put you on the bus. So you have to be aggressive and you have to shoot it. And the thing to remember here is to shoot it with a little bit more speed than you need. In other games, you just kind of want to drift this shot down into the pocket. But in this game, it's the worst thing you can do because if you miss the ball, it's going to bounce lightly off the bottom rail and you're going to leave your opponent an easy cross-corner bang. So if you miss it, you want to leave your opponent up by the right-hand side pocket like you did on the break. This is basically the same shot with the cue ball on the other side of the object ball. And here you have the luxury of sending the cue ball back up table if that's what you want to do. And the basics are the same. You want to shoot it hard enough to where if you miss, you're going to send the object ball up by the right hand side pocket. And also stay away from that right hand side rail. It could spell doom if you hit it, or if you hit the tit on the right hand side pocket. Just be careful with that and learn how to shoot it clean. If you have to miss, you want to come off the bottom rail. This shot is tough, and I've never been very good at shooting two railers because they don't come up a whole lot in 9-ball and 8-ball. But if you're playing this game, they come up a lot. And of course, if you're playing banks, they come up a lot too. But this one's really tough. And what makes it a little deceiving is that you have to cut it more than you might think. If you hit it too full, you're naturally going to wind up with this. And you're not going to like it because you pretty much just sold out and left your opponent a pretty easy shot.
Still it's open. Now you got a solid, right?
Another problem with it is it's easy to scratch in the right hand side pocket, so I learned to put a little bit of bottom left on this just to go further down table and avoid the side pocket. Work on it. I worked on it myself for about 45 minutes before I started getting it consistently. But it was tough on my back to keep on bending it over and shooting this ball over and over and over until I got it. It's also hard to do if you have real big pockets that you're playing on, so a lot has to do with the table itself. And it's a little bit easier on a 9-foot table with tight pockets because as you're overcutting this, it's really not hard to make this 3-ball in the top left-hand corner pocket. It's touchy, work on it. And here's some examples of me doing that just a couple of nights ago and trying my best to dial it in until I finally started hitting it over and over and over. And here's a typical example of your opponent screwing up and leaving you this. Or maybe he's just not worried about it and thinks you can play, but you're going to work on this and you're going to introduce him to your little friend. And if he leaves you something like this, you're going to drive this guy absolutely bananas and broke because you're going to do something like this. Here's a shot that I'm naming the Tony Chohan shot. Now, Tony's probably in the top 3 in the world in playing one pocket. So he can do this every day of the week, but if you're not really in tune to this, and I mean shooting it at least 1,000 or 2,000 times, it's really, really easy to screw it up and to sell out the whole game. Because don't forget, a ball has to hit a rail after making contact. And if you're just 1/4 of a millimeter off, you're going to screw this up. So really bear down on this shot and don't shoot it in competition until you're really comfortable with it. That's what I wanted to hear all night. That was cool. Now I'm going to leave you with some common 3-rail shots, but you know, if your opponent knows you're a good player, he's not going to leave you these, or at least he's going to try hard not to leave you these shots. But if you're playing a weaker player, these are going to come up, so you should practice these. And hey guys, this will get you started, but there's a whole lot more shots that you should know about and you should practice. So if you want me to do a part 2 to this, just let me know down in the comments and I'll get to work on it. For now, this will keep you busy. Good luck out there and try not to get yourself in too much trouble. Peace, brothers and sisters. And thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I appreciate it a lot. It helps me and every creator a lot.